Where am I going now?
Now it's Danvers State Hospital. It's like 2 minutes away. There's something.
They smoking the gas now.
Jesus.
What's wrong with you?
I didn't do anything.
Well, what is that? That's not even music.
I literally don't know. I don't listen to that. It's happened to me before. It's weird. Like, why is the car hijacking my phone and putting on music?
That is not the car. That is you.
I'm not doing anything.
Disagree.
Okay. Got it. What was I saying? That's more important.
Well, I have no idea what you're saying half the time, so.
Yeah, me neither. Use the force. It's a really pretty view, and I'm sure you can see more this time of year because you don't have all the greenery. It's an interesting symbol.
When was the place converted into a condo building? Must have been about 20 years ago.
Deconstruction began in 2006. It closed in 1992, was opened in 1871. This is the main building of the Danvers Mental Asylum.
Is that the neo-Gothic architecture style?
It's so beautiful. I'm having like Ozzy Osbourne brain this morning. He's like, ugh. So this is it. So then we have all the information stuff here. Situated on the crest of Hawthorne Hill, with breathtaking panoramic views extending to Boston 18 miles to the south, this was the site of the Danvers State Hospital from 1878 until 1992. The establishment of the Danvers State Lunatic Asylum was part of a 19th century Massachusetts health reform movement designed to sympathetically care for those in Commonwealth who suffered from mental illness. A large expanse of land, including the 257-foot-high glacial drumlin known as Hawthorne Hill, and the eventual purchase of other property created a campus of over 500 acres of land for hospitality and ancillary purposes. Construction of the Danvers State Hospital began in 1874. The original massive hospital building was promoted a standardized method of asylum construction and mental health treatment originally developed by Dr. Thomas Story Kirkbride. Treatment was conceived to include removing patients from an increasingly complex society resulting from the Industrial Revolution to an asylum. This asylum setting would consist of specially planned buildings and landscapes in a calming, fresh air environment, all promoting healing and recovery. Nathaniel J. Bradley, 1829 to 1888, a prominent Boston architect, was consulting architect for the project, while James F. Ellis became the superintending architect. Danvers was an excellent example of the classic Kirkbride Hospital, consisting of a central administration building flanked by 8 stepped back patient wings. The design of the Danvers State Hospital was in the Gothic Revival style. The exterior included Danvers red bricks trimmed with contrasting gray Rockport granite. The roof was of slate. The central core of the complex contained offices, dining, kitchen facilities, and a chapel. It was often called the Castle upon the Hill. It cost over $1.4 million, and it was 3.5 stories high. You have the plan here. So when I was researching it, it was said that the most troubled people would not be kept in the center, but all the way at the end wings. They had sunrooms with a lot of natural light designed for surgeries, and they also had working rooms, but they actually would give you work to do if you were sane enough to handle said tools needed to do the work. Sewing,
At its peak,
stuff.
the hospital attempted to care for over 2,600 patients.
The numbers are mixed up everywhere.
Well, it was made for 400. They was
Yeah.
treating 2,600. And the last
Incredible
patient
capacity.
reassigned in 1992. And then construction was in 2005, 2007
Yeah.
to turn it into a condominium.
I think it was an important spot for the development of mental health aid. I like the engraving. It's very pretty. Okay, so it's down here. Now it gets a little bit grim.
Why?
So The plaques in the cemetery are on the ground. Some of them have names, birthdays and death dates. Some of them don't. And some of them are just numbers. I don't know if it's the number of like the patient itself, or if it's who died in what order. Imagine you pass away in a place like that and the only thing that's left is a number on a tiny stone in the ground. It's really, really sad. So this is it. So this is the abandoned cornfield. It's not tended to anymore. There's lots of rocks, grass, etc. Maybe they sow something else here now, but yeah. So no gates, no signs. The Danvers State Hospital Cemetery, the echoes they left behind. It's a creepy thing to write on an entrance. And you have some leftover empty plaques. And then I guess this rock here to stop people from driving.
Yep.
And it's a really, really big old tree overseeing it. So this is the only one with something actually written, like a quote. You remain always in our thoughts and prayers, forever in our hearts. Mary Rose Balter, quote, nobody's child, a residence from 1948 to 1968. Someone of strong faith who overcame many adversities during her life and helped others to do the same. She was probably highly religious and involved with the chapel here, upkeeping it in some way. And I like her little statue. So none of these are in order, and they start here and they go all along, and they just have numbers. So you see some of them have names in the ground and some of them do not. Some of them are just little circles in the ground where there aren't things sticking up. 1944. This one against the tree. A lot of them fall over and they're not really kept. See, there's some like this one that are just the oldest ones. 47, 46, and they go all the way down. I'd imagine maybe they find out the identities and put these nicer ones. And some of them are just out. It's harder with all the leaf litter. See anything. Let's go down here.
The plaques are everywhere.
What?
The plaques are everywhere.
Yeah. No, it's like this entire plot of land. Someone left flowers, that's nice. Nothing on this bench. And then you have people leaving rocks and such here. So here you have more names. There's no numbers beside them, so I don't know if they have the numbered plaques or what, but
That's a lot of people.
yeah. And someone left a child's chewing toy. Yeah. And you have this one too. Probably also someone who cared for the chapel. And their number leaning on the tree. They replaced these ones. There were actually more of them when I was here last. They were like all along here.
Yeah.
And they replaced them because they'd fallen over. And breaking. Yeah, they're everywhere. All under the leaves, so I don't know where we are. These ones are just the numbers, I think. At that one. Guess from the water flow.
Yeah.
And a bench. Some of them are by trees. We need a freaking rake. There's one there. $3.95. Gets really steep. That's what I was talking about. And the men and women were kept separate in the asylum themselves, but buried mixed up together. This is a rare one that's actually coming up. Oh, look at this one. A lot older.
1931. All of these people.
Yeah. And some of their birthdays were, you know, before it even opened. The old tree. And back there with the ones that aren't taken care of anymore, they're just littered throughout. Yeah. No, it's a forgotten place. You know, how many generations have passed between 1880s and now, you know? You have these big office buildings and delivery places. So Google Maps, when I put that I was walking, it made me go through a road and then climb up the side there. It was like, oh, there must be a trail this way, and there wasn't. I was like, what the hell? So. But yeah. It looks pretty in the summer with all the greenery growing over the old fence. Oh, I feel one. About this tree. Yeah, some of the plaques are missing. There's squares and circles that were dug up. Yeah. Whew. Starting to get dizzy. Whew. Imagine that was your nickname.
Nobody's child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's that. It's a big, big hill. We have time for the parsonage, the memorial, and driving by, there's an old tavern where most of the things kind of escalated socially in the community. It's funny because I remember last time I walked past it, I was like, that's an old house. Something about that house. Oh, I have a headache now.
From doing what?
Being there.
Okay.
What's that?
All right, just putting in where we're going.
Yeah. Now closer to home.
Pretty sure I know where the Witchcraft Memorial is.
Yeah. So yeah, there was a fire here
Okay.
in 2007. There was a 4-alarm fire on this property that destroyed the apartments that were being built. Suivant next. It's completed. It's really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And you really see the scale of how big it is, honestly.
Turn your music off. Thank you.
At least it's spa music now, not freaking trap music.
I thought you were starting your map.
I did. Just like so many people.
There you go. All of our new property, we have our own graveyard.
What?
Yeah, Andrew didn't tell you?
No. Yeah, so what?
Yeah. So.
There's a graveyard on the property?
It's adjacent to the property that's right next to it.
Okay.
So it's theoretically, if you think of the property as a rectangle,
Yeah.
there's a corner taken out where there used to be an old Methodist church, but the graves are still there.
That's the divot at the bottom?
No, at the top, right at the top.
Okay.
So the church gave itself the prettiest view of the land, and then it burnt down. The cemetery is still there; it's still active. The last person was buried there in 2018.
Oh, okay.
And most of the people who get buried there now are called the graves. So all the gravestones are like, say, graves on them.
Like it's a grave family? Or?
Yeah, the graves.
That's a cool house. I love the ones with the very dark wood. Did you visit it?
Walk through it all the time. That's where we park when we go there.
Okay. Do you know how far back it goes?
Early 1800s, I think.
Old. Oh, Jesus.
Okay, I'll follow you. So what's this place we're going to now?
So, Witchcraft Victims Memorial. Dedicated May 9th, 1992. People's testaments. Sarah Osborne died in jail in 1692. Bridget Bishop of Salem hung 1692, which was really the height of everything happening. Roger Toothaker, Billerica. Do you know where that is?
Billerica.
infant daughter to Sarah Good died in jail. To look up how old she was. Sarah Good is one of the very well-known people. Elizabeth Howe, Susanna Martin, Rebecca Nurse, Sarah Wilds. Rebecca Nurse has a museum, I believe.
Her house is conserved.
Yeah, she was from what I read last night, a pretty well-respected person who took care of a lot of local townspeople.
You can buy a book about her on Amazon. Or
so
no free sponsors.
You have a Reverend George Burroughs was hung, Martha Carrier, George Jacobs Sr., John Proctor Sr. of Salem Farms, and John Willard of Salem Village. And then died under torture September 19th, 1692. One of the most famous ones, Giles Corey of Salem Farms. He was pressed to death under rocks,
Yeah.
weights of rocks, until he confessed, and he didn't. Does he have one of the quotes here? No, but I think he has one of the quotes in Salem instead. What kind of bird is that?
There's a lot of people that died.
Yeah. And I think that Salem Farms were also part of the land disputes between families. In memory of those innocents who died during the Salem Village Witchcraft Hysteria of 1692. And their quotes are heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Their quotes are really heartbreaking. You remember the movie The Witch?
Yeah.
When it came out. So, in the movie itself, the beginning starts with some sort of trial, right? The Puritans fled persecution, and some of what happened prior must have leaked over into people's paranoia. Last time I was here, people had left flowers, coins, stone. Hey, we can walk it. Let's do it. And then around the corner when you turn back onto Center Street, there's a light tan house. That was the old tavern. It's for this. So Salem Village Meeting House, 1672. Directly across from the site was located the original Salem Village Meeting House, where civil and military meetings were held, and ministers including George Burroughs, Deodat Lawson, and Samuel Parris preached. The infamous 1692 witchcraft hysteria began in this neighborhood on March 1st. Accused witches Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba were interrogated in the meeting house amidst the horrific fits of the afflicted ones. Thereafter, numerous others were examined, including Martha Corey, Rebecca Nurse, Bridget Bishop, Giles Corey, and Mary Esty. Many dire as well as heroic deeds transpired in the meeting house. In 1702, the meeting house was abandoned, dismantled, and removed to the site until the lumber decayed and became fixed with the soil. In 1992, a memorial was erected here to honor the witchcraft victims and to remind us that we must forever confront intolerance and witch hunts with integrity, clear vision, and courage. Yeah. This is where the preaching happened, the interrogations happened, and over there you have people drinking afterwards, discussing what just transpired or what will transpire. I really like the style of houses here, but I don't know how comfortable I would feel living in a house where stuff like that actually happened. Like all that energy. But of course, like, it's not the first time it happened, it's not the last time it happened, and this was recorded really well because they had just started the colony here.
All right.
So they were documenting everything, right? Do you know why the Puritans came here to avoid persecution? Ding dong. Oh wow. First Church of Danvers. Kids that play childcare. 1630 to 1930. The church in Salem Village. To this church, rent by the witchcraft frenzy, came in 1697 the Reverend Joseph Green, aged 22. He induced the mischief makers to confess, reconciled the factions, established the first public school, and became noted for his skill at hunting game and his generous hospitality. Cool. Imagine being 22 years old, preaching to the entire town.
All right, which way?
This way.
Okay.
Generous hospitality. Look at how beautiful the white is there. An old house here too. Benjamin Holland, 1730. It's so cute. It's such a cute house. Oh, look at how pretty. The knockers on this house. So like a wolf fox thing.
Oh, very cool.
It's beautiful. This is it. So it's in between these two properties.
Huh.
Samuel Paris Archaeological Site, 1681, 1784.
Yeah.
Chicken crossing. So down this little path in between these backyards. The gate's open. What?
Who opened the gates?
So there's more signs on this one too.
Okay.
Salem Village Parsonage, 1681. In 1681, the Salem Village inhabitants built a home for their minister at this site. Ministers residing here were George Burroughs, accused in 1692 of being a witch and hanged, Deodat Lawson, author of the first volume about Salem Village Witchcraft, Samuel Paris, minister during the witchcraft hysteria, Joseph Green, noted diarist and area peacemaker, Peter Clark, famed theological author, and Benjamin Wadsworth, who tore down the old parsonage in 1784. It was in this house in 1692 that Tituba, Reverend Paris's slave, told the girls of the household stories of witchcraft, which nurtured the village witchcraft hysteria and resulted in the deaths of 23 persons. This house was the scene of many incidents during the hysteria and is one of the most important sites in colonial American history. Archaeological excavation began here in 1970. Danvers Historical Commission, 1974. It's so tiny. In February 1681, the Salem Village inhabitants voted, "We will build a house for the ministry and provide convenient land for that end." The dimensions of the house were as followeth: 42-foot long, 20-foot broad, 13-foot stewed, fouet chimneys?
I have no idea.
No gable ends. I don't even know what that means. The house faced south and included half cellar on its west side, which was composed of dry laid field stones, and which was entered by means of stairway from the porch. Each of the house's 4 rooms included a fireplace. There were 4 rooms?
Can't believe there was 4 rooms there.
There were 4 rooms stuck in that thing. And also the ceilings were really low. Reverend George Burroughs first lived in this house, followed by Deodat Lawson. In 1689, Reverend Samuel Paris, his wife Elizabeth, daughter Elizabeth, and niece Abigail Williams came to live here. Legal proceedings resulted in the imprisonment of over 150 persons and the death of 25, including former parsonage resident George Burroughs. It was torn down in 1784, and the land was reverted to a pasture. The Danvers Dig. Wow. When I was here in the summer, see the ivy on the tree there?
Yeah.
It came down like the most beautiful waterfall of leaves. It was really, really pretty. And the last time I was here.
What are you doing?
The last time I was here, there were little rocks of some kind of natural mineral. They're all hiding. The sign on the other side too. Imagine being
No.
4 to 8 people in a room like that.
No.
Of course people lost their minds. It's strange though how it was like into the ground. I wonder how many houses are still kind of like that.